stuck in nostalgia like me. I wanna know.
All right. Adjust this just a little bit more. Okay. So the last video was about when I went to Jack in the Box and just had a scary encounter. And when you're listening to the story, it may not seem scary, but it was. You know, in that situation, it was. Believe me, it really was. The next situation, I've been through a lot. It's crazy because I've been through enough situations where, I mean, I could actually probably make a season out of this. And then if you add in my immediate family and my close stuff family, then yeah, it goes on for a while. So I'm going to jump into the AmPm situation. The AmPm situation actually brought about a whole new understanding of self-defense. And it actually is the reason why I gravitated towards 10 millimeter. So it's about 1:30 in the morning, and me and my best friend Floyd, we are leaving the bar and really heading home. But before we did that, we went to go stop at an AmPm. I don't remember. He went in to go get something, a pack of cigarettes, maybe. I think he was smoking cigarettes at that time. Anyhow, or a wine. So as he goes in the store, I'm on the phone talking to a lady friend of mine, and this is what happens. This is there's a lot to this, so I'm going to try to explain this as best I can. I'm in my car, and in front of me, right in front of me, is the store and the entrance to the store, and the gas station. The gas pumps are to my right, behind me to my right, southeast, eastish of where I'm at. So there's a space. I'm parked here. There's a space, a car space, an empty car space, and then there's a SUV of some sort. And as I'm on the phone, I look back and I see a guy hiding behind the car. Like he's, you know, the car's right here, and he's peeking. He's doing this, you know, looking into the store. And I'm like, what the heck is he doing? It looked like nothing but trouble, right? He had a hoodie on, and you know, they got the pockets, you know, where you put your hands in, and his hands were in his pockets. So the person I'm talking to, I'm like, hey, let me call you back. I hang up the phone. I roll down the window. Now, the reason I roll down the window is because I don't know what this is, and it looks dangerous, and I don't want to have to be shooting through glass. If I roll down the window, is it possible that it'll, you know, really grab his attention or whatever? Yeah, but I kind of want him to know I'm looking at him. So I roll down the window, and he sees me noticing him. At this point, he now takes his vision off of peeking around the corner and looking in the store. And mind you, the only people in the store are my best friend and another random guy. And that guy is behind my buddy in line, looking as if he's going to buy something. When that guy noticed that I was looking at him, or that I noticed him, he then looked at me And with his hand still in his hoodie, he began to walk towards me with his hands in his hoodie, but as if he's about to pull out. This is the movement he's doing, walking towards me. When I see him doing that, I pull out, and I had at the time, actually what's here on the table was exactly this. I carried this for a long time. Was this Glock 17. And so I pulled it, and I wasn't carrying one in the pipe at that time, okay? And so because I wasn't carrying one in the pipe at that time, when I pulled out my gun, I racked it. When I racked it, he heard it, and it stopped him in his tracks. And so he stopped, and he goes, and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I have the gun pointed, so he's to the left of me, right? So I have the gun like this, down low, so it's below. You can't see it from outside. It's below good enough. You really can't see it from outside unless you walk up really close to the window. And so I have it pointed that way. He stops in his tracks, and I kid you not, this is the conversation. He goes, "Are you strapped?" And I said, "Yeah, you damn right I'm strapped." And so he backs up a little bit. He's looking in the store. He's looking at me, and he just got this evil look. And I'm like, this guy's about to try to pull out on me. Like, he heard me rack the gun and everything. He's about to pull out on me. So as he's giving me this look, sure enough, his arm does this. I see something black. I see something black behind here. Now, I don't see for sure if it's a gun, but I seen something black. At that point, I began giving verbal commands, okay? And no, I didn't do it in a nice way, okay? So at that point, now the gun is no longer down here. The gun is like, it's pointed out the window, okay? And I told him, I said, "Do not pull your hands out of your pocket. I will shoot you right now. I will shoot you where you're at if you pull your hands out of your pocket. I don't know what you got in there. I don't trust you. I don't know you. Just don't pull your hands out of your pocket." Okay? Am I a bad guy, or am I in the wrong for that? I don't know, but I will tell you this. When my safety's on the line, I'll do whatever's necessary. I really don't care. I will do whatever is necessary to save my life if I feel like it's in danger, and that's just what it is. So when I gave those verbal commands, his hand went back in his pocket, and he's constantly still looking in the store, looking at me, looking in the store, looking at me. My heart's flying. You want to talk about fear? The last story didn't have as much fear as this one. I'm scared to death because he's looking crazy. He's got tattoos all up on his neck and all over his head and his face. He's crazy looking. And so this is what I said to him. I said, What are you doing? Are you about to rob the store or something? What are you doing?" And he said, "Yeah." Okay, he told me the truth, or whatever. So I'm like, oh, all right. Well, listen, my best friend's in the store right now. When he comes out, we're gonna leave. Now, I would advise you not do anything, trying to rob this store or whatever. But what I'm not going to allow you to do is to try to go in there while my best friend's in there. Okay, that's not about to happen at all. And so when I said that, I said, just wait for my buddy to come out, and then we'll leave. I advise you not to do what you're trying to do, man. It's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? But my business is my best friend in there. When I said that, along the lines of that. I don't remember word for word what I said, but along the lines of that, I said that, and he then replies, "That's who I want." This is how you notice this is not a made up story, because you can't make this stuff up, right? So he goes, "That's who I want," and I go, "What? What do you mean that's who you want? You want my best friend?" And he goes, "Yeah." I swear on my life, this was good. This is the conversation. And he goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, no, you're not touching that's my best friend in there. That's not happening. When I said that, he started walking towards me. He took 2 more steps towards me. My gun's already pointed at him. Okay. He takes 2 more steps towards me. And at this point now, my body is showing a little bit more aggressiveness. And I kind of really push into it. And I said, "Do not come towards me 1 more step. Do not pull your hands out of your pockets. I will kill you. I will kill you. I swear to God, I will kill you." He stopped, but he just looks anxious. Okay. So here's what happens. This is the trip. My best friend comes out of the store. As he walks out of the store, the guy that was behind him walks out of the store behind him with him. He didn't buy anything. You understand? My friend went in there to buy something, and there was a guy in line. When my friend paid the money, grabbed his receipt, grabbed his goods, and walked off, the guy followed behind him without buying anything. Okay? So when my buddy comes out of the store, he looks at that guy, looks at the guy who just walked out behind him, and realizes, why in the world would you be behind me and not buy anything and walk? And everything in a split second, when he walked out and he looked, it just took a split second, and he said, Eugene, it's a robbery, watch him." And he didn't know I had my gun pointed at the guy at the time. He's scared to death because he sees what's happening. It's a setup. And this is something that every one of you guys should be aware of. I didn't know about this until it happened to us, but apparently there are some criminals that one person stays outside, the other one goes inside the store. They go inside when they see someone else go inside. Okay, it'll happen nighttime at a corner store or something, I guess. They get in line to look in the person's wallet to see how much money they have in there. If they have money in that wallet, then they walk out behind that person. They don't buy anything. They're not in there to buy anything. They're in there to look in your wallet and see how much money you got. So when he walked out behind him, and the guy then looks at the guy that I have at gunpoint and shakes his head. Yes, he has the money. You understand? My best friend's panicking to death. When he tells his friend, he gives him the head nod, yes, that guy looks at me, he looks at his friend, he looks at my friend, and now he has this pressure because now his friend is telling him, hey, they got money, let's rob them. And I know that's what's going on. So I am scared to death. Why? Because I need you to understand, this is why I'm telling you this situation opened my eyes. What will happen is, what can happen, is if he decides to pull out of his hoodie and start shooting, even if I get the first shot off, it's not going to stop his reflex. It's not going to stop his movement from putting a round in me. You understand? So, my gun's on him. If he pulls his hand out, I'm going to pull the trigger. I do have to wait to see if it's a gun, right? So when his hand comes out, I'm going to pull the trigger. But he'll be about here by that time. By the time I pull the trigger and see that it's a gun and then pull the trigger, his gun's here. He gets hit, but this movement right here is fast. It's not the movies. It's fast. It's real life. So I'm scared to death. And he's looking at them, he's looking at me, and I'm going, oh my God, this is it. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. And I yelled to him again. I said, don't do it. Don't, I'll kill you. If you pull your hands out of your pockets, I'm going to kill you. Don't do it. He looks at his friend, he looks at me, and he has his hands in his hoodie still. And what he does is he starts jumping up and down a little bit, like just small hops, like you know, he's kind of doing this thing here. He bounces up and down a little bit, and he does this as he's bouncing up and down, like he's pumping himself up to do it. And I'm going, oh my God, oh my God. I'm zoned in though. I am in a zone. I'm in a zone. My adrenaline's flying. But I actually, at this point, when he's jumping up and down, he's doing this, and his hands are moving in his pockets, my finger is on the trigger, and I'm actually applying a slight amount of pressure on the trigger. Sounds crazy, right? Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. That's the dumbest thing in the world. You're an idiot for doing that. Okay. This is me. This is my situation. I know myself. And don't put limits on me that are limits for you. I had some pressure on the trigger. I told him, don't do it. Don't do it. He's jumping up and down, his neck doing this, and he goes, fuck it. And he backs up, turns around, and walks off. The guy that was actually his friend or whatever walks around the car and walks off and has his hands up. Well, what happened? Why didn't you rob him? The guy didn't see I had a gun on him. My buddy didn't see I had a gun on him. So when he walks off, my friend gets in the car. They're trying to rob me. They're trying to rob. And finally, he looks and sees that my gun's in my hand. And I'm like, I got it. I got it. So now they're walking off, but I'm scared still. Because what if he decides to turn around and say, what if his friend pumped him up and said, man, just do it, don't be a punk. And he turned around and said, forget it, and just comes out shooting. I'm in a bad situation. He's behind me now. So what I did is I backed up, and I was going to back up and leave. I was going to go in his direction because I needed to be able to shoot back at him. I need to be able to, have an offense if he came at me. This was my immediate thought. As I started backing up that way to go in his direction to leave, my buddy goes, no. Go that way. Don't go towards him. And so I did it his way. I backed up, but now I'm feeling vulnerable. As I'm leaving, I feel vulnerable. Finally, once we got that parking lot, though, and it's funny because me and him both said the same thing. We didn't feel relief until we got maybe 3 blocks away. And finally, we were like, oh my God, I'm so glad that's gone, done and over with. And, then we began to talk about what happened, and things started making sense. But, yeah, that was, I don't know if it's the scariest situation I've been in, but it's up there, top 3 at least. It was scary. So I'm glad I got out of that alive. Listen to this. So after we leave the AmPm, we went to go to his house. When we got to his house, we realized, we forgot something. And we went back to the store, to that same store where that situation happened. But this was now about, an hour later. And I was like, man, I really don't want to go back to that store. And so what we're going to do is go by the store. If we've seen anyone, anywhere, we were just going to not go. The next store close to us was pretty far away and didn't feel like going that far at that time at night. So anyway, when we headed back towards the store, the police had one of them in handcuffs, the other one just leaned up against the car. There's two cop cars that had them guys, pulled over or whatever, questioning them. So I don't know if while we were gone they robbed someone else or what. But the the store clerk, actually called the police on them. Now, I know you're gonna ask, how come we didn't call the police? We were gonna call the police, but I was so like mentally twisted about what just happened. Believe it or not, calling the police just went over my head. Like I didn't think about it. I was just so happy I was alive and didn't get shot that while we were gone, I was just like, thank God, both of us were. And so I didn't actually call the police. Now, what's funny is, as we're on our way back, then we're like, well, hell, we should call the police, man, And I'm like, that's a good idea. Let's do that. As we came up on the store, we were gonna, especially if we seen them, we're like, yeah, we see them there, then we'll call the police, catch them up in the middle of their act, But as we were heading to the store, we see the police had them pulled over. The store clerk had called the police. Found that out because when we went back to the store, he went in and talked to the guy about it. And yeah, so I don't know if they went to jail or what. One of them was handcuffed. The one that I had the gun pointed at was the one who wasn't handcuffed and was leaning up against the car. The one who was behind my buddy in the store, he was the one who was handcuffed. And so that's that story. It's crazy. What would I have done different? The only thing I can think of that I would have done different is probably call the police a little sooner, But it's just, my mind was just tripping, It was, my adrenaline didn't come down for like 45 minutes, like maybe an hour later. Around the time that we began, decided to go back is when, that adrenaline finally kind of went down. But then, of course, as we're heading towards it, my adrenaline's building back up again. So, yeah, calling the police earlier is the mistake that I didn't do. And it's not really, when shit hits the fan, it happens fast, and it doesn't happen the way you think it should happen, or the way you play it out in your head when you think of scenarios or things that'll happen. When it actually happens, man, it's almost never the way you think it's gonna be. It's scary, it's different, and people, like when I see those police videos, somebody's hands in their pocket, and the police is saying, take your hands out of your pocket, keep your hands in the air. I get it. I know. If you're watching the movies all the time and you're just online watching YouTube videos, then you might think that if you have your gun on somebody, right, if you got your gun on somebody and their hands are in their pocket, that you're going to win. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's what you would think. That's not necessarily true. Okay? Reaction is fast, man. Action's fast. Reaction's slower. Okay? So, yeah, that's the AmPm story. I got more for you. I got more for you. That one was one of probably my top 3. But I'm just glad I made it out of that situation alive. And the fact that I could have died, I could have got shot, he could have died, he could have got shot, and nothing happened, and I got out of there safe. It's hard to say that I did that wrong, or I handled it in the wrong way. I got out of there. I'm safe. Everyone is. No one died. Of course, you can criticize the story. You should. But, you know, until you're walking in my shoes in that situation, it's easy to talk, but when you're in that situation, it's a lot more serious. So, that's that. We'll have more stories nonstop. And then, also, I'd like to get some of your stories recorded and put out there. You know, we can't make videos about it, but we can talk about it as best as possible, and it can really help other people, especially those who have the kind of mentality that when you tell them a story, they create a video in their mind. Is what I do, and it helps. It helps the next person. So that's that. You guys be safe. Stay out of trouble's way. Keep your eyes open. And talk to you next time.